What up? Let's get weird. It's your boy Tommy G here with the Friday Night Roundtable Show, the biggest, baddest, hottest, sexiest motherfucking show on the goddamn internet. So fucking sexy that we had to only give you the first 30 minutes for free because our subscribers fucking batshit that we were giving this thing away for free for the first 4 weeks. Hopefully, we won you enough money in the first 4 or 5 weeks that you could afford the subscription at 4Deep.com. Benny Riccardi is going to be hosting, producing, content providing, and then he's going to do everything else that we need. Maybe get Scarface a sandwich. Who knows? Benny does it all. Benny, we appreciate
I love sandwiches.
A couple times beforehand. Benny, I'm going to need a favor from you to start. Can you do me a favor and throw the promo code RUPNRackets on the bottom there? That is the promo code at 4Deep.com. We're going to do the first 30 minutes for free for you here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know why I sound like a fucking carny tonight, but I'm in a good mood, a lot of painkillers. About to get some blow and drinking some tequila. So we're going to be popping on the new hit. But use promo code RUP, R-U-P-P-N, letter N, Rackets, R-A-C-K-E-T-S. This is their stupid promo code. I made another one that's R-N-R. RUP and Rackets, R&R, rough and rowdy. You know, whatever you want to refer to it as. R&R, use that promo code. That will get you 20% off anything on the site, on the DFS and the betting side. And we have about $600 we've accumulated on the Stay Cashin' show, which you should check out today. It was a great show. $600. I'm $300. Bill's putting up about $250. I think there's another $50 that came in from fucking heaven. Who knows? Put up about $600 that we're going to give away to only new subscribers. So anyone who subscribes and uses the promo code RUPNRackets at 4Deep.com, and we might only have 20. I mean, one time we had 90, one time we had 10. So we have no idea, but the odds are you're going to have a good chance at a piece of that $600. Go sign up for a package. You're going to get 20% off, and we'll go through the Discord. Go watch the Stay Cashin' show. We broke it all down. If I lose money on any day, I'm putting up $100 per day. Bill's putting up money if he wins this, that, the other thing, but there's $600 cash put on the table for you guys. And we are going to do 30 minutes here. Then only subscribers will see the next hour after that where we straight fuck. Speaking of fucking, the sexiest man in the universe is back. Jerry Scarface gave away $1,000 to our DFS subscribers, along with our boy Russ, who's a fucking god, a legend, a beautiful person. Sent me a wonderful message before my hip surgery. Jerry, how did the DFS contest go? Who won? And welcome back.
So the winner was one of our subscribers, Chris Boudry. I think I'm pronouncing his name right. What's crazy about the lineup that he has? I mean, he blew the competition away in that contest. The lineup that he had would have actually won the Mega Millionaire last week on DraftKings. So that's how good this guy's lineup is. So he's got a chance.
Shoot his load on the quali.
Yeah, he's got a chance this week, and so did our other subscriber that won second place. So they're both going to be in that contest this week. We're excited for them. We're going to be rooting them on.
What Scarface did along with Russ, another one of our subs and millionaires. He hit the $1 million a couple weeks ago. He's going to be on the show coming in the next couple weeks also. They actually gave away for our subscriber-only contest. Whoever won the 100-person contest, whatever it is.
There was 180 subscribers in the contest.
180 people for free. Gave away 2 $555 Millie Maker tickets. So one of those two people who just beat 178 other people may become a millionaire next week for being a subscriber to 4Deep. $1,100. Appreciate you there, Jerry. Benny, you haven't done shit all day. What's wrong with you?
Sounds about right. Yeah, exactly.
On a regular Friday.
What the fuck?
I figured, one day of only working 11 hours a day.
Probably. You got up at like 8. You actually took a break today. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I did actually take a break. I took a break in the 45-minute time I wasn't there. Actually, when you needed, I got like 6 phone calls from you. So yeah,
you got Bill Rupp on Stay Cashin', sending out promo codes that don't exist. Jerry, he's like, you get 20% off. You get that. I'm like, Bill, we have to pay that on the back end.
I was going to say, I asked before you guys went on too. Are we good? Everybody good? I'll be back in an hour. Next thing I know, my phone's blowing up. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, you know what I mean? I learned my lesson. I will not take any more breaks throughout the day. It will be 12 hours.
Do not leave me for 30 minutes ever again, Benny. What the fuck, dude?
Tommy needs you now more than ever.
I mean,
I will bring my laptop into the shitter with me from now on.
Yes, you damn fucking put it 3 times in a row. That means basically my dick's falling off or my mom died. So, or Bill fucked up a promo code. Let me just go over last week for those of you who are subscribers. I only talk about myself, not only because I'm the best, but I don't pay attention to anyone else's shit. So I let them talk about themselves. But last week's, Jerry, my number one, I'm reading off the G-Spot Week 7 article. I'll be putting it out again this week, along with Jerry's content, Healy's content, and everyone else. After this show, we'll be joined by a few of the other guys on the staff, Constantino, Trevor, do the full team on the Roundtable show. My high-priced quarterback, number one last week, Jerry, Lamar Jackson. How'd that work out?
Lamar kicked ass last week.
Worked out pretty good. You want to know who my number one low-priced running back was? Jerome Ford started the day with a 77-yard touchdown. You want to know who my number two low-priced running back was, who I said to play both these guys together on a lineup? Dante Foreman, who ended up fucking smashing last week. And literally across
I was not on Dante Foreman last week. That smashed
everywhere. High-priced tight end. I'll read it as it says. Kelsey, he absolutely fucking obliterates the Chargers. He's a flex play. Don't worry about start him, love him. He's putting up 30. If you played, and guess who my cheap defense was? My number one defense, who I mentioned on the show, Ravens. Probably my favorite punt D on DK, 2,500, fifth highest scoring D in the league. I think Detroit is due for one of those fucking Lions games now that everyone believes in them. If you started your lineup with Travis Kelsey, the Ravens defense, Lamar Jackson, Deontay Foreman, and Jerome Ford, guess what? You probably 20 extra money no matter what the fuck.
I think you just named our subscriber the winning lineup. You just named the whole lineup. But he had Mahomes. He had Mahomes with Kelsey.
Yeah. So
yeah, you could have had Lamar or Mahomes in that spot.
Yeah, and I told everyone play that. We obviously loved Kenneth Walker. He didn't come through, but I said play a lineup without him. So
Kenneth Walker still had a good game, man. He had over 100 yards.
Yeah, still did fine. Just didn't get in box. So absolute fucking skull fuck last week for DFS. Have to do it again this week. So make sure you get on board if you want them winners. Deontay Foreman, Ravens defense coming at you again. Let's start this off. What we do is we basically go through the games one by one. We talk about the weather and the injuries for that game when we get to that game. We're going to be going in the order of DraftKings. So we will start it off with you, Jerry. Let's get to the first game on the slate as I stall waiting for this to load, and it just did. Houston, Carolina. This is a weird spread. We got a 3.5-point spread on this game. I make this game 6.5. Houston's one of my favorite bets of the week. This is a little bit trappy. I'm a little bit worried. It makes it pretty safe to play the Texans, though, with this tight spread. I mean, we're obviously not looking at a blowout or anything here, according to Vegas.
I love Houston in the spot over here. I think overall, I think this is kind of a nice game to stack up, especially from the Houston side. I think CJ Stroud comes out pumped up, kind of wanted to stick it to Carolina for picking Bryce Young over him. It's kind of like a little revenge spot for him. I think you could pair him up with any of those receivers, Nico, Tank Dell, Schultz. You can do a double stack them. It makes a nice tournament stack, and I think they might come with a little bit of ownership. I think they'll be somewhat popular, but it's a nice cheap stack to get like a nice core build in your lineups. And coming on the other side, I mean, Thielen just continues to produce every week. He seems like the only receiving option worth going to on the Carolina side. You got Miles Sanders coming back. Him and your boy Chuba are priced almost the same at 4,900 on DraftKings. I don't mind Miles Sanders. I think they're going to try to feed him over Chuba for that cheap price. I don't mind sticking him in one of my lineups, but definitely the Houston stack is something I'm going to be interested in.
Okay. Benny, I like the Houston stack on this a lot. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, coming off a bye too. So at the 2-week preparation, I think a lot of people are overlooking, Jerry, that revenge factor, that Stroud versus Bryce Young, that he's out there for blood.
I'm all over that.
I mean, I love it, dude. I picked up Stroud in a seasonal league, which I don't know why he was still out there, and I'm starting him this week. I do like Houston as the play. Benny, what are you looking at in this game?
So I'm going to throw something out there that might be a little curveballish, and it's one of those like hold your nose kind of plays, but let me explain why here, right? Actually like Dameon Pierce in this game. So you look at Carolina so far this year, 11 rushing touchdowns allowed is the most rushing touchdowns allowed so far in the league. 13 touchdowns giving up to opposing running backs, most touchdowns given up by any team to an opposing running back so far in the league. It's a really good spot for running backs going up against them. Now, I know Dameon Pierce has looked horrendous so far this year.
And losing snaps.
And losing snaps. And that's why I think like nobody's going to play him at all this year. I actually like the plus 115 for him to get in the end zone this week. It's plus money to get him in the end zone this week. I absolutely.
Listen, you've been on fire with those. You called the ATN. You even said he would get in the box twice that day, where everyone's like, "Oh, he scored literally in the first drive of the game." So
I like him.
I will plus money on
running backs.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
It's one
what
of
you're
the
saying
best
is right.
Yeah, one of the best in the league. I like a guy like Dameon Pierce a little more on a FanDuel than I I like him on a DraftKings, and we talk about this sometimes, right? Like he's not a pass catching back, so he's not going to be getting the PPR points there.
He's getting cut
but on
into by
FanDuel, you need
right?
running backs that are going to get in the box, right? So this could be a game where Dameon Pierce gets in the box twice. So that's another bet if you want to go a little bit crazy. But again, getting plus money on a starting running back who's favored in a game against a defense that has been giving it up to running backs, Dameon Pierce, I think, is a good play here. So don't overlook him when you're looking for those cheap running backs here. I really want to play one of the guys on Carolina too, one of the two running backs here. I'm just a little bit worried that they're not going to give Miles Sanders the full load here, that he's going to wind up getting he's going to get the predominant amount of the carries. But when you had Cooper Hubbard getting all the carries, that was a good play. If you have Miles Sanders getting all of the carries, that's going to be a good play too. I just have a feeling that because Hubbard had a good game before the bye last week, that they're still going to mix him in there a little bit, which kind of nixes a little bit of the upside going in there for Miles Sanders. So I'm a little bit off of the running backs here. Thielen, though, I mean, how do you not play Adam Thielen right now? Even at 6,600 on DraftKings, which is the highest price he's been, you're talking 11 catches, 7 catches, 11 catches.
Dude, it's a screenshot. Dude, he's had 3 of his last 4 weeks have been 13 or 14 targets. All 3 have been 11 catches. All have been over 100 yards, and in all 3 of those, he scored a touchdown. He scored 34, 30, and 31. No one likes him because you don't want to fucking deal with the price scum. But the bottom line is, dude,
over 20%.
His worst target game is 8 in his last 5. Granted, he had a 54, but, I mean, dude, the guy scored 20, 34, 15, 30, 31. At 6,600, 3X right there. You're looking at 19 points. He's eclipsed that 4 out of the last 5 and almost doubled it in 3 of the last 4. So,
yeah, he makes sense. He makes a lot of sense on DraftKings.
That's the perfect play.
FanDuel is 8,200. They priced him.
Yeah, I agree. FanDuel is a little pricey. Yeah, he's a little pricey.
There is regression upon us, obviously. Adam Thielen's not going to fucking catch for 1,700 yards this year. He's probably going to regress at some point. But I mean, right now you have to fucking ride this horse at 6,600. I'm with you guys on that. I'm actually going to do the opposite of you, Ben. Here, I'm with you. I'm the same thought process, but I'm on the Singletary train at 4,400. Jerry, you're going to be the tiebreaker on this. We're both in agreement here. I think you could also, Benny, play both Houston backs. I think if you want like a 5th lineup type build, right? This could be a game. I did it with Achane and Mostert that week, and it paid off. You have to look at this as price per dollar, not just look at this as, I need 30 points out of every back. Jerry, we're looking at fucking $9,700 here from the 2 backs, right? If you played them both hypothetically. I need basically...
Look, I love the passing attack in this game.
Right, no, that's what I'm saying. It's a 5th line.
But if hypothetically, I mean, it's one of them for sure. Both of them, that's a tough click, man.
So let me that's why I said 5th lineup, right? First or second lineup, I'm going to play the passing attack. I'm going to have Stroud and Tank Dell with a Thielen bring back on probably my main lineup, right? Like that's a first type lineup build. 5th, 6th, 7th lineup, if you get and extrapolate out to that point, Millie Maker type lineup. When you look at that, people will be like, I'm not playing Singletary and Pierce. You're not. You're playing the Houston backfield. This is a game where you could literally, again, 6th, 7th lineup. This is a situation. Singletary's the lead back there right now. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone disagrees with me. Benny disagrees with me, probably everyone. This is Singletary's backfield. And granted, Pierce may have a little more of an opportunity down at the goal line. Singletary got 54% of the snaps last week, up from 29%. Compared to Pierce's 33% of the snaps, down from 59. So Singletary is taking over. Pierce has been kind of unproductive. I do like the Pierce touchdown prop at plus money. But if you play both of these guys, Jerry, I just need 30 points out of the backfield, right? I think Houston could win this game by 14 or more. I literally think that line is this wrong.
You're playing those 2. That means you're trying to jam in some of those studs.
You're jamming in the monsters.
Tyreek, you want like Cooper Kupp. You want to jam them in with McCaffrey. I mean, theoretically, yes, it could work.
My opportunity here, though, is Singletary is the preferred play for me at 4,400 if I could do it. Keep in mind, Pierce is probably the better play. But my number 1 opportunity here is Stroud at the quarterback position down there at 6,300. Like him a lot. My preferred pairing is Tank Dell, saving 600 off Nico Collins. I actually think they're the same player. I know Nico has been turning it on a little bit of late. I think this is Tank Dell's offense. I think he's the better, more talented receiver. I think Nico Collins is thriving off like a big catch or 2 every time he gets there, whereas Tank Dell has that kind of elite status, game skill, ball skill upside. So Stroud and Tank Dell.
I like throwing Schultz in there too. I like one of
Schultz. I love. Yes, that was the other one. Schultz, I love in this game. Schultz has seen 17 targets, 11 catches, 130 yards, and has scored a touchdown in 3 straight games. And he's under 4K. Schultz is one of the top tight end plays on the board.
Let me throw one more thing out there too. Brad brought this up in chat, and I agree with him. I don't think the Texans D is a bad play here either. I think they could actually smoke Carolina in this game. I think they not a fan. Yeah, I am not a fan of Bryce Young. I think that they're better off without him in that game. Interceptions, turnovers.
The line's bad though. The line smells funny. That's the thing. This is the trap of all traps. Who the fuck is not going to be betting Houston in this game? If you go to the money movement right now, we have 62% of the public on the Texans. This line's only moved a half point. This line should be 7. They're 10 points better than Carolina on a neutral field. I don't know why this line's 3.5.
Yeah, it's a funky line for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to build one lineup hoping for the close game where you do the Stroud, Schultz, pick a Nico or a Tank and bring it back with Thielen, and then you need another lineup in your top 6 with that Singletary or Pierce with the defense, and leave the receivers off in case of the blowout. This is a great game though. I think this is fantasy goodness in this game. I think the total goes over. Let's go to the next game on the board here. We're going Dallas at home against the Rams. Cooper Kupp looked like he was fucking fully back, 100%. Lock him in for $110 and a tutty every week, and then all of a sudden, fucking King Puka comes out of nowhere and says, "Give me that ball back." And Cooper's fucking 2 for 29. So, Jerry, we know what's going on in Dallas. We know the issues that are on there. They're even talking potentially Derrick Henry. But the Rams, is this Puka? Is it Kupp? Is it Puka and Kupp? Is it?
I mean, look, with the Rams, on the Rams side, it's like, okay, starting with Stafford. I mean, he's cheap on both sides still. But even with his weapons at wide receiver, he hasn't put up more than 17 fantasy points yet this season. So, I mean, I don't see a need to go to Stafford like whatsoever in this game. The running back situation is too messy for me to try to figure out. And it's not a good running back matchup to begin with. So I'm out on them too. As far as Kupp or Puka, they're just priced up too high for me in this matchup. I mean, The Cowboys' pass defense, aside from the game they had against the Niners a few weeks ago, it's only allowing about an average of 181 passing yards a game. So, I mean, I don't see myself getting to either one of them on the slate, to be honest. I've looked at them. I think they're priced up a little bit too high. I think there's better spots to attack on the slate for that price. And as far as the Dallas side goes, it's pretty simple for me. It's Tony Pollard. He's projecting to be probably one of the highest owned backs on the slate. But it's hard not to like him at the price and for his role in this offense. I mean, he's still pretty much the only show in town for running backs in that offense. And the O-line is healthy. They're coming off of a bye.
I think we may see a little Dowdle this week.
I don't know, man. I
don't know. I feel like he's kind of falling out of favor over there.
This is his week. I think it's a Pollard week.
Listen, me and you, I respect you more than anyone in the industry. I could say that now that Healy's not here and can't hear me.
You think he's watching on the plane?
I hope he's watching. Fuck you, Healy. You suck. Something's wrong with Tony Pollard, guys. Something's wrong with that offense. So how owned is he going to be? What are you seeing there?
I'm seeing
he's going to be high.
He's going to be 30. I'm going to be full fade. So it's like the Josh Jacobs thing, right? Where we're like, he's got to do it this week every week. Something's wrong with Tony Pollard, dude. I have him on all my seasonal teams. I just traded him for Bijan Robinson in one team. He doesn't have 100 yards in his last 3 games combined. The 3 games combined, he doesn't have 100. Dowdle's going to get 20% of the carries. I think we see a Dowdle uptick. I think we see a little bit of Deuce Vaughn splashed in that we haven't really seen this year. They're talking about trading for Derrick Henry. The one thing I do like here, Jerry, is this could be that Madison game that they had when they were talking. Cam Akers came over and Madison finally broke out and went nuts in week 3 or whatever that was. This could be Tony Pollard's spot where it's like, fuck that. This is my backfield. I'm going to show you. We don't need a Derrick Henry.
It just feels like it. The price is right on him too. Like he's got that breakout game coming. I mean, this could be.
I can't do it. I'm with you. Listen, hasn't scored a touchdown since week 1. He hasn't broke 47 yards since week 3. I'm not paying $7,500. His price just went up $300, and he's chalk.
Also true.
Bye, Felicia. So
I agree.
He was going to be 3%, 10% all in, 30% chalk on a guy.
Well, look, 30% on FanDuel, about 25% on DraftKings.
Not doing
so
it.
I agree with everything that Tommy just said about Tony Pollard, except for the fact that I don't think there's anything wrong with him. His role in this offense, the volume is still there.
There is. He's fat, dude. He's fat.
The volume is there in the passing game. The volume is there in the running game. He has been on the wrong side of variance, and we talk about this all the time with variance, right? Like
I disagree.
I am only going to play guys that are going to get volume because
I could not disagree with you guys more.
Sooner or later, we're talking about a guy who's a plotter. Volume doesn't matter. When you're talking about a guy who's explosive, which Tony Pollard still is, even though we haven't.
No, he isn't.
The volume is still there. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's not. But I'm going to be honest. I get why people want to play him this week.
I do too. Here's the thing, guys. He's been on the right side of variance. Here's the thing. He's been on the right side of variance. He's sucked. He should not be getting 15, 20 touches in a game. His only productivity in the last fucking 3 weeks was a 60-yard touchdown. You take away that 60-yard touchdown, and he scored 9, 9, and 9 3 straight weeks, averaging 3.4 yards a carry. And his price just went up. And he's 30% owned.
All right,
last comment. As I was saying in the chat, Scotty just said it. Scotty said what I said before when he said he's fat. Scotty said Pollard put on weight to be the lead back and lost that burst. Yes, Scotty, yes. Since week 2, he's been bulking up. He bulked up in the preseason. He's not fast. You watch the game, he looks slow.
Over the course of the season, maybe he's not going to be what we expected from him. But there's going to be games. He's going to have his games.
Not if he doesn't have that burst, bro. Not at 30%. Yes, I agree with you, Jeff. Not at 30%. Not at 7,530%. No.
Tommy, I have an analogy. I have an analogy for you, and I need you. I think Jerry will agree with me on this analogy. Everybody in chat's going to agree with me on this analogy too, right? Let's say we go out. Let's say you and I are in Miami, and we go out 4 nights in a row, and you don't get laid the first 3 nights. I am betting as much money in the world that you're getting laid on the 4th night. That is the situation you have with Tony Pollard right now. That is the situation with Tony Pollard. He had the 3 bad games.
You think it'll take Tommy 3 nights to get laid?
He's overdue for the regression is long due. But so what I'm saying though, Benny, what if I had laryngitis? Because my only weapon is this. This is a disaster. I have a huge dick, but no one sees it, and I'm not muscular. So all I got is this mouth. Let's say I had laryngitis. Then you'd be like, you know what? Maybe I'll.
Then we're cutting you.
Tony Pollard has laryngitis. He's not good anymore. He lost his weapon, which was his burst. Let's get to other players. We'll figure this out later on in the week when we see how this turns out.
Honestly,
this is why our show's better than every other fucking show, because we don't just sit here and fucking blow each other the whole show. I like your play. No, I don't like your play.
Very nice.
I think you're both stupid and you're wrong and I'm right. Jerry, give me more plays in this game that aren't fat Tony fucking Pollard.
I mean, honestly,
who do you like? Okay, you don't like Tony Pollard. Who do you like in this game?
Yeah.
I don't like this game. I like
Stafford, I agree with that.
But he's too expensive. I don't know which receiver to pair him with. The tight ends, I like Schultz better than both these guys at a similar price. The wide receivers, obviously, CeeDee Lamb's always in play, but this isn't a great matchup. He's not doing great. I don't trust Dak. I like the Rams as a bet. I'll probably bet a Cup prop, but I like Cup. I want Cup. I think this is a Cup get-right game after last week. He's going to fucking come out and go for a buck, but I'll just go take his prop over 93 rather than blow 9K in a DFS lineup with it. So I'm actually off this game, and it's one of the higher totals. So I'm going to let all you guys pile into it and hope this game ends 17-14.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Scarface kind of said it. Tommy just said it too. Like, I tried to find a play in this game, right? And I don't, because if you're going to play
expensive.
If you're going to play Cup, I might as well just play like a Tyreek Hill. Like, there are other guys at the price points that some of these guys I would consider.
Right, it's just not there.
They're just better plays. So, like, when you get down to it at the end, I just don't see myself having much exposure to this game outside of a little bit.
And then listen, people are going to say Tutu Atwell. No, you're not playing fucking Tutu Atwell. Stop, dude. You got Higbee, who's good. You got a receiving back in the backfield, and you got 2 monsters at wide receiver who are alternating, going for $150. And Stafford's a first read quarterback. Once he starts locking on someone, he just fucking pummels that guy the whole game, as we've seen multiple times lately. Listen, it's a 46 total. A lot of people are going to be on it. There's a lot of chalk. Just fucking keep it moving. Throw this all on your 3rd or 4th lineup. Stack the fucking game, punt a couple positions, and fucking keep it moving. Minnesota, Green Bay is the 3rd and final game of the free roundtable show for those of you looking to see the rest of the show, with 2 or 3 more retards coming to join us to talk about it. We'll be behind the paywall. Go right now so you don't miss anything. We'll take a 5 to 10 minute break. I think my cocaine dealer is on his way here. Jerry looks like he's got to fucking make another drink. And Benny's got to do some more work behind the scenes. So you'll have about 10 minutes to get over. If you're watching this on demand, you can go watch the recording. But go to 4Deep.com, use promo code RNR or RUP and Rackets. Get yourself in the running for the $600 cash we're giving away this weekend and 20% off anything on the site. DFS package, combo package, betting package, every package. Me and Jerry will do an OnlyFans and fucking have Benny jerk us off if you pay us enough money. You figure it out. We'll whore out for anything. 4Deep.com. Get over there. Benny, you're doing it, motherfucker. You are doing it. If you're delaying us in the pre-show, you owe us a fucking hand job.
If it's seven figures, I'm in. I'm gay for $7 figures.
It's like $7. So, by the way, on an injury front, no major injuries. Robert Woods is out for Houston in that first game. I think Chenault is out for Carolina. Some other scleronic and other bullshit, but nothing big. Jerry, talk us through this Minnesota Green Bay game and tell me if we missed any weather in those first few games.
As far as weather goes, the only weather I saw is a little bit in the Jets and Giants game, but that's really it. Nothing else stands out on the slate as weather-wise.
All right, cool. Hit it, Buck.
This game, this kind of feels like a letdown spot for the Vikings after that big win on Monday night. Fantasy-wise, I still have interest in TJ Hawkinson here. He's drawing about 8 targets a game. We saw 12 targets in the last game, and his price, for some reason, it came down a little bit on FanDuel, so I like him there a lot. I thought Cam Akers kind of looked better than Madison did last game. I think we could see him kind of taking a few more touches than Madison's going to have going forward, and he's only 4,800 on DraftKings. I kind of like him as a tournament play over there. And the Green Bay run D is one that we like to attack, so I definitely don't mind him. On the receiving side, I'm not crazy about Kirk Cousins or any of his receivers in this game. The only really person I have interest in is Hawkinson on that side. On the Green Bay side, LaFleur came out today and said that they're going to kind of take it easy on Aaron Jones. So I'm not ready to play him anytime soon. Musgrave popped up on the injury report today. So I think if he's limited or misses, I kind of like Romeo Doubs a little bit at his price tag. I think he's going to see more targets coming his way. And he's already the target leader on the Packers. And I think the way to beat Minnesota is through the pass. So I have interest in Romeo Doubs.
All right, Benny, what are you looking at?
Well, I know Tommy's going to hate this when I say this, right?
Probably.
But I mean, Scarface kind of mentioned it. Like, if you're going to beat Minnesota, Minnesota is a team you can throw the football on. And the way I'm looking at it is like, if Musgrave doesn't play and Aaron Jones is going to be limited, then it's got to go to the wide receivers, right? And if you're going to beat him through the air, then it's Love with a couple of his wide receivers, whether it's
he sucks.
I know you say he sucks, but you know what? There are people who have won millions of dollars with shitty quarterbacks in good situations. That's the thing is you looking at the situation in daily fantasy, you're looking at the game here, right?
I actually don't hate him this week.
Yeah, I think
Love he's not bad this week. He
does suck though.
I think Love is a decent option. And then you got to pick 2 of the guys to play with them. So I like Dobbs and I like Watson as the 2 guys to play.
You can definitely go Dobbs and Watson in a stack with Love.
Yeah, this is assuming that Musgrave can't go. Because if Musgrave can go, then he's going to steal some of those targets. But if he's out, those targets are going to go to the wide receiver. So you could see 6 to 9 targets for both of those guys on the outside. Along with Love, he throws 2 or 3 touchdowns. They're all kind of cheap. It's a stack that you can put together here. Bring it back with Hawkinson on the other side. I don't hate that here. Is it on my
home game? So I like Love more at home for sure. I feel like he's more comfortable at home for sure.
Now again, is it my number 1 lineup? Is this what I'm doing if I'm in a single entry and I'm only playing 1 lineup this week? No. But if you're making 3 or 4 lineups, I think a Green Bay stack is going to be pretty low owned. And again, I look at Minnesota as one of those teams that you could always stack the other side of that game against them because they tend to get in shootouts because their offense can put up some points and their defense sucks. And whenever you have a team whose offense can score and their defense sucks, you get a chance to get those big games, and that's usually what wins the DFS tournament. So I don't hate the Jordan Love stack, even though I do agree with Tommy. I don't think he's very good.
He does suck, and I called it first. I called it in college. I called it the last 3 years, and then after he had fucking 9 touchdowns in the first 3 weeks, I told everyone, I got to bring my dude Enzo Amore on here. He'll tell you. I was like, drop him. And he's like, do I start him? I'm like, drop him. He's like, I can't drop a guy with 9 touchdowns. I'm like, drop him. He sucks. Jordan Love fucking sucks. Okay. But in DFS, we play guys who sucks. I remember winning $250,000 on the Jaguars quarterback that everyone used to play, Bortles, who fucking went nuts in a fucking 30-point blowout in the fourth quarter, and I won $250,000 on it. And he did that for a lot of us multiple times. I'm going to give you a couple plays in this game that I really love. On the injury front, we talked about none of the major players, but we do have some Musgraves, obviously Jefferson out, but no big guys. We got Aaron Jones healthy. All the main guys are in. There's a couple fucking cheap flyers in this game that I really want to piece at. First of all, I like Minnesota. a lot in this game. I think Minnesota wins this game. So I think this is a betting game again more than a DFS game. Second of all, if Musgrave's out, guys, I'm going to DeGuara at 2,800 as a punt tight end. He's not optimal. I don't like him more than Schultz and these other guys. This is a guy who's getting about 30% of the snaps to begin with. He's already had a game this year. I think it was Detroit where he had like 4 for 40. So he has upside. He has potential. And if Musgrave misses, you're probably looking at about a 95% snap share for a guy who's $2,800. You punt the tight end position. He's already gotten you an 8 or 9 point game. You throw up 8 points at 2,800, you're basically 3x your value. You're fine. So with the upside of falling into the box and going 5 for 50. So I do kind of like him down there. Wide receiver position, I'm with you, Jerry. I think Dobbs and his upside and his ball skills and his ceiling is just too low. 4,900 is just too cheap for a guy who has that type of ceiling. I don't know.
He's already seeing the targets. He's only going to see more if Musgrave misses.
Yeah, and he's done it twice already this year, right? He's had a couple games where he went fucking ham. I think he had fucking like 20 fantasy points, I think, twice already. So at 4,900, I do like that. I like Watson too. I mean, I don't hate either side. But on the Minnesota side of the ball, I think Addison, 5,700 is cheap. You could call that a breakout game coming out party last week, whatever it is. Been pretty much double digits every single game of his last 5 outside of that 1-0 that he threw up. I believe he got hurt in that game. He's solid at 5,700. He's a fine play. But what I like here is I like Powell. I look at all 3 of these receivers kind of as the same, Jerry. Like, you know, you're looking at fucking Addison's only seeing 74% of the snaps and Powell's seeing 61. Right. Meanwhile, you're looking at 5,700 for an Addison, 3,200 for a Powell. So I'm getting a guy who's going to be on the field 2/3 of the time. He's had 4 or more targets in every game. His catch rate is insane. Someone in the chat was talking about Gallup. I don't want Gallup. Gallup's targets are empty. Those are fake targets. That's Dak Prescott running away and just throwing the ball out of bounds up the seam, and Gallup's fucking running up the sideline, and that's a target. Those aren't real targets. When you see Gallup get 10 targets for 24 yards, it's because
Powell is getting legit targets on Monday night.
Powell is literally catching most of them. He has 11 catches on the 15 targets that he got. He's averaging about probably 13 yards a catch, and he looks good. And he has a carry in every single game too, which you may think means nothing, but you pop one of those for 25 yards, and all of a sudden we're there. 9, 5, 10, 3,200 punt. I can go take DeGuara and Powell, lock off 2 spots in my lineup for $6,000, and I got 2 guys that can get me 5 for 50 very easily, and then go beat them with the rest of the Tyreek Hills and the other guys in the lineup. So my 2 favorite plays are actually the punts. It's DeGuara if Musgrave doesn't play, and it's actually Powell at 3,200.
I love the Powell call. I fucking hate the DeGuara call.
I mean, listen, it's bad, but at 2,800, you got to literally like fucking, you can come down your leg and you're fine, right? It's like, you know, 3 for 30, I'm okay with a 2.5x, right?
So Donald in chat brings up a pretty good point here, right? Like the Minnesota and the Houston running back situations, you know, both of the guys who we consider like running back 2s are actually guys that are in play this week. I actually like the Cam Akers call that Scarface made a little more than I like the Singletary one, mostly because Cam Akers, I think, is a guy who at least we've seen, you know, kind of do it before. You know, I mean, the Singletary thing I'm a little worried about because, again, I think that this could be a game where, you know, again, you're going to get your points from a running back from scoring and getting in the box, right? Like I could see Akers getting in the box more than I could see Singletary getting in a box. Singletary may take more of the snaps between the 20s, but I do think you're going to get Pierce when it gets down closer to the end zone. Akers, on the other hand, I think could keep taking more and more out of Madison. Like you don't go out
better than Madison on Monday night.
Listen, the bottom line, guys, is before this shit went down, it's kind of like a DeAndre Swift situation when DeAndre Swift just got kicked out of Detroit. And everyone was like, wait, he was actually good. Akers is the same way. Like we were all high on Akers coming into the year. We could sit here and say Akers sucks all we want, but every one of us was targeting him in seasonal leagues this year as a breakout campaign. This kid is fucking good. He's better than Madison. So that scares me, like you said, Benny, more than Singletary, who neither him and Pierce are really anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. So I do think Akers is the guy that I like a little bit more there than Singletary. But again, that's just me. Like I said, Tommy, I know, is on the Singletary side of that.
No, I don't hate the Pierce. I like the Pierce. I just like the Pierce props a little bit more.
I would say
I want to risk my DFS lineup on it.
They're both great matchups, right? So there's definitely running back production to be had in both of those games. But that's why in DFS it's tough. You pick one side or the other and hope that you're right.
Listen, the bottom line is Scarface. You know, I'm a guy now who obviously I'm so busy and I'm doing so much in betting and parlaying and stuff like that 98% of my money is in bets, right? So I'm just dabbling in DFS compared to when I used to be in documentaries in the New York Post. For those of you who don't know, I was super famous. I like started this shit. But, you know, when I was doing now it's Jerry's, I handed it to him. But, you know, when I used to play 6, 7, 8 lineups, I'll just fucking go Stroud in the offense in one lineup and then fucking pick Singletary in one and put fucking Pierce in the other. Right? That's what the MME guys are doing. So if you're playing more than fucking, we know the Houston running backs are going to go off. We know the Houston offense is going to go off. I think we're looking at about 480 of offense on that team. You could see Stroud throw for 330 and fucking Singletary go for 80 and Pierce go for 70 and both of them get in the box, right?
And they're cheap.
And they're cheap and it's a fucking good opportunity game. It's a revenge game. They're going to want to stomp out Bryce Young, like Jerry said. So just diversify it. Take Singletary in a lineup. Pick who you like. We're split. Jerry, let me just divide the split before we go behind the paywall. If you had to go Singletary and Pierce, price considered, which guy are you going?
Singletary.
Okay. So yeah, 4,400 is a little bit of a discount, you know, getting $1,000 off. But dude, go Singletary.
I like what Benny said about Pierce over on FanDuel. He's got that. I think he's got touchdown equity there. So I
like Singletary for potentially more volume, and I do like Pierce for the touchdown upside. So I would agree. I think Singletary is a better draft.
Pierce at plus 115 for the touchdown. You're getting plus money on a guy who's very likely to score this.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they both get in the box. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna have a lineup with those two on it for $9,000 and watch them each go for fucking 80 and a touch and 2 catches for 45 yards each.
I would never play them together.
I don't give a fuck what you do, Jerry. God damn it. Watch your mouth when you're talking to me.
Right, maybe on the Thanksgiving slate, but other than
let's get behind the paywall. You've had enough of us, our brilliance, our genius, our entertainment. Go to 4deep.com. Sign up. How much is the DFS package for a week? Like fucking $20 or some shit? Fucking go sign up, you fucking freeloaders. This show alone is worth it. Go use code Rough and Rackets or RNR. Rough and Rowdy. We'll take Barstool's Dave Portnoy's thing. That's how you remember it. R&R. So go use R&R. That gets you 20% off, and you'll be entered into the $600 worth of cash giveaways, which may just be 10 people because maybe we suck and no one signs up, or maybe it's 100. But either way, you got a good chance at making more than your money and winning all the bets. Because I'm going to fuck this weekend, and so is Jerry, and so is Benny, and so is our whole team. 4deep.com, promo code RUPPNRackets. RUPPNRackets. Jerry, final words.
We got 10 more games. Join us on the other side.
Oh, we're coming heavy. I'm just starting. I'm not even kidding. My dealer's literally on the way here. So we're going to be getting fucking heavy. I'm on painkillers. I'm drinking Red Bull for the first time all week. I'm going to get drunk for the first time since the surgery. Benny, you're going to be babysitting me tomorrow. Give me some final words, Benny. Leave me out.
Man, I got to babysit Tommy tomorrow. So my final words are fucking A. That's my final words.
Buckle the fuck up. You know, I'm up 78 units for the week, by the way, guys, and I'm going to take it to 100 tonight. So get over there. You got 10 minutes. It is 8:20 right now. We are going live at 10:30 on the secret link that you will only get if you are a 4deep.com subscriber. See you on the other side. We're going to be fucking for Jerry, Benny, and everyone else who's about to join us. I am Tommy G. Good luck. Stay cashing, motherfuckers.